Mitt Romney out in these states, Ohio, North Carolina, which will prove pivotal in the race. He's swinging hard against Obama. He's using strong language, and yet everybody who's listening to him, they're saying, you still haven't convinced us about yourself yet, Mitt.
You know, he's at a really interesting moment. He's just come out pretty much of a tough primary. I mean, he hasn't sealed it, but he's now on his own presumptive nominee. And he's trying to define this race as a race primarily about Obama's record and going very hard after Obama. But at the same time, there are a lot of conservatives who are ready to go over to him, and you can see the support galvanizing for him even among his own base. But there's also a lot of misgivings among those people, even what should be his firm supporters, about where does he stand himself, and a lot of desire to see him kind of, you know, define what he is, not just in contrast to Obama, which is what he's doing very much this week.
Now, in terms of what we're hearing in some of this, these focus groups, tell us what some of the verbiage is that the people in the focus groups were using about Mitt Romney, Neil.
Well, there was a really interesting one that our pollster, Peter Hart, did on Tuesday night in Tampa, which is the, you know, heart of Republican Florida, and also the site of where the Republican convention will be in August. And there were 12 people in the room. I think it was 8 of them said that they were going to support Romney with varying degrees of enthusiasm. But to a person, all of them wanted to see him say what he was all about, prove to them that he was really a person who would take positions and stick to them. So you heard a lot of quit rounding off the edges, take a risk, drive the train, be what you are. And there was, of course, always also a lot of concerns about, is he aloof? Is he sort of not one of us? And that was a concern among some people too.
This likability factor seems to be weighing heavily among people who even who are absolutely against Obama, and yet they too are conceding that Obama has a greater likability factor than Mitt Romney.
It's going to, I think, be very much of a dimension of this race throughout. And if you listen to what Romney has been saying this week, he's addressing that straight on. He's like, you know, you may like Obama, he may be a good guy, but we just can't afford 4 more years of Obama. The economy can't afford it, et cetera. So even Romney is very much addressing that issue. And it's going to be an interesting one as it goes forward. There was one woman in the focus group who said, you know, just Obama's delivery and the fact that he has a lot more charisma, though I'm tilting very heavily towards Romney, if I'd had a drink and heard, you know, Obama give one of his speeches, I could just go in and on a whim vote for him. So, you know, that factor is out there.
That's a very good point. In terms of the economy, it seems that the one message that Mitt Romney seems to still be holding on to, and which seems to resonate with voters who even might have some misgivings about his personality, is this record of failure in the economy. I mean, record of failure seems to be this soundbite he wants to get across.
It's absolutely the heart of what the campaign, the Romney thrust is right now, and I think they want to establish that as a baseline and just build on it. And if you look at the polls, I can't talk about, we have a poll coming out later today, and there's some interesting numbers along those lines in there. But, you know, elsewhere you can see that there is an advantage of trust among the electorate in general towards Romney when it comes to the economic issue. It's not huge, but it's enough that Romney can begin, hopefully for him, to start building on that edge. And it's the kind of core competence thing is where his main advantage is, not in the warmth and likability side.
We'll be looking for more on that poll coming out tonight at 6:30 WSJ and NBC. That'll be online, WSJ.com. Neil, just going back to some of these swing states, I mean, Ohio, North Carolina, these were critical for Obama in the 2008 election. What is the message that seems to be resonating the most in those states with the voters there, both from President Obama and from the presidential hopeful Mitt Romney?
You know, both of them right now, I think the whole thing comes down to a word on either side. The word that Romney is using is restore. He wants to restore economic freedom, restore optimism, restore vitality in the economy. For Obama, the word really is protect. He says he will be the person that will protect the middle class, that will protect a system of fairness, in a way will protect voters against what he is portraying as the excesses of the Republicans or of Mitt Romney in terms of favoritism towards the rich and so on. I think in the end it's going to boil down to that simple dichotomy, and it's a little too early to say what's resonating so far, but we know the states where it's going to need to resonate.